Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie,
This is Kalen.
and welcome back to My Will to Live is slowly being sucked away.
Dude, that's not okay. I think we're gonna have some beef.
We've got some beef.
Got some beef.
So, if you haven't noticed already, or if you haven't read the title, we're talking about the gosh damn B movie.
The B movie, yeah.
And we literally just watched this movie.
Yeah. Restrictions are lifted, and I'm allowed to see him face to face now.
Yeah, so we're not recording online anymore, which is awesome.
Yeah, so I can now poke you and annoy you whenever I want.
Yeah, you're a bit too far away though. We're staring across the room at each other. We've still got the at least 1.5 distance.
Yeah. For any of our American viewers, I think it's one alligator distance apart, or is it one Kanye West?
I think it's one Drake.
One Drake apart. Yeah, make sure you say one Drake apart.
I saw that on Twitter or something. Everyone was like, "Stay one Drake apart." The caption was like, "The US isn't stupid," and it was just that picture of Drake, like photoshopped in between two children standing apart.
It's any reason not to use the metric system.
It's so stupid. And also, we actually do have American viewers, so yeah. Take that, liberals.
Dude, that must have stung.
Yeah. Shut up. Anyway,
yeah, the B movie. It's from first look, it seems like a pretty good movie, good children's movie. I mean, it's a rated G. I mean, how bad can the storyline really be, and how dark can it go?
Yeah, you'd think it'd be, well, the concept of the B movie is like what?
Yeah.
Like,
if you read the blurb, it's a weird thing to try and wrap your head around just to start off with.
Yeah.
Without even watching the movie.
Well, like, who thought that was a good idea?
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, clearly. Like, to me, I envision like DreamWorks. Like they approached Jerry and they were like, "Hey, man, like we've seen your stuff and we're a big fan of what you've done, and we want a project with you." And he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, let's make it happen."
Seinfeld impression.
And they were like, "Okay, we'll give you like a month to think about any film ideas you want for us." And he's like, "Oh, okay, all good."
Oh, we're thinking Jerry Seinfeld came up with this entire idea.
Yeah, this is all Jerry Seinfeld's like passion project. And then like the month passed, and they were like, "So, what have you got for us?" And he's just like, in the boardroom meeting.
Yeah, he stumbles in. He
looks out the window and he sees a bee on a flower, and he's like, "B movie!" And they're just like, "I love it. It's great."
Yeah, what's the storyline? It's like, and he sees a couple outside the window. It's like, it's about like the. I mean, there's a bee, of course, and he falls in love with a woman.
And they're like, "Okay, yeah."
That's it.
And then he doesn't like that people are eating honey.
Yeah. He tries to sue them.
God, it's so ridiculous.
And he wins.
Like I was saying while we were watching it multiple times, that the movie doesn't know what it wants to be.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh, nice pun, man.
It's oh my god. We're going to be doing this accidentally this entire time.
I'll be deliberately trying to do it.
Anyway, it's like 4 or 5 movies just meshed into one. Like it starts off with like he's the
like a coming of age type thing.
Yeah, like his friend just represents like the traditional B, Adam. He's all like straightforward, and he follows the system and he doesn't question anything. But Barry's a bit more rebellious. He's the
artsy creative type.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to live by these rules. I want to see the world. And it's like, okay, I can understand that. I can get behind that, right? And then he leaves the hive and has this moment where he's like, I'm outside and seeing the world. And it's like, great, whatever, But then it turns into this weird little rom-com with
it starts as coming of age, and then it turns to horror because he almost gets crushed by some guy's Tims.
Yeah, what's his face? Ken almost kills him with his Tims. And he confirmed that they are indeed Tims. We were just speculating about that.
I saw them. I was like, those are Tims.
Yeah, we were like, damn, they look like some fresh Tims. But then he actually says later on, my Timberlands. While he's also complaining about yogurt night.
Oh, yeah.
But
that guy needs a whole podcast episode on himself.
I would listen to that.
Yeah.
What's that voice actor's name?
I don't know. All I know is he plays him and Kronk.
Yeah,
in
and
Emperor's New Groove.
he does the sheriff in Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, the show.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's him as
They're
well.
both all weird characters.
Yeah, it's like his name's like Patrick something, but I love him. He's so good.
I think he's also in Ted.
Really?
Yeah, he's the
Oh,
closet. Yeah, he's the closet guy.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that.
No, but yeah, so it starts off, coming of age to then horror, and then he gets saved by this woman, and for some reason he falls in love with her, or
Yeah.
he wants to thank her.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm gonna talk to this lady.
What do I say?
What should I say? what
You
is-
like jazz?
It's so awful. I really want to know like why someone thought that was a funny joke. Well, it is funny, but like,
But not for the reasons it should be.
yeah, like it's like a punchline, but without any setup or like. I don't understand. Like,
I think the good thing about it is the fact that people took the punchline, but they made their own setup
yeah,
for it, because the setup for that was awful.
yeah. Well, that entire scene is just weird. I like when she stabs herself though.
Yeah, she's
And he's just like, "What are you doing?" That is funny.
She thinks she's in a dream,
Yeah.
and then she stabs herself with a fork, and then she's like, take some rum cake, and she threatens him with like a spatula or something
Take
like
it.
that. He's like, no, I really shouldn't.
Yeah.
And then she just starts pouring coffee on the ground, and he's like, are you okay? And he's like, yes.
I'm completely fine.
And then in the next scene, she's completely fine, and they're having a conversation on the roof.
Yeah. She goes from like being completely out of it, like the reaction you'd expect after you saw a bee talking for the first time. And then the next scene, she's just like, oh, we're best buds now.
Yeah, we're just sitting on this roof.
Yeah.
Like, I live over on that tree. I'm
She's
drinking
like, "Oh,
coffee."
yeah." And then we kept saying that it was like almost every character in the movie is schizophrenic. Because,
In a way,
because
yeah.
they keep like, they have these shots where when the guy was like changing the light bulb, she's just sitting there like on just by herself.
Yeah, on the roof, looking out.
Yeah, just talking to nobody, and he's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. She's shaking nothing.
She puts her hand out, and she's just shaking nothing, and it's kind of like the movie is self-aware that this is completely ridiculous, and that's
the plot of it's awful.
Yeah, and that's what I like is I think for this movie to be like at all entertaining whatsoever, they just had to
Lean into it.
Embrace the ridiculousness and just go full absurdity, which they do.
The movie gets worse and worse.
Yeah,
as it progresses.
it just gets crazy. Like, it's like when a child who doesn't understand story structure writes like a story. They're just
that's
like,
me, yeah.
They're just like, and then this happened, and then that, and then this, and then this, because like,
and then it's a happy ending.
yeah, and then it's all happy because it's like, oh, there's Barry, and then he doesn't want to work for Honey, so he wants to explore the world. So then he leaves, and then he meets this girl, and then there are tension between her and her boyfriend, and then there's a flower shop, and then there's a taxi to a flower detective movie, heist movie, and then there's a plane.
Take a breath, jeez.
And then the plane lands with bees, and the engines turn off. Like, what?
The other bit of absurdity we have to sort of take into account, which is, I mean, it is absurd, but you should try and think about it, is how realistic Barry's age is.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like 9 days old, and bees don't live for that long anyway. And this whole movie takes place over like 2 months. So he would be dead by the time this movie ends.
Yeah, the bee lifespan is like not very long whatsoever. And then they show that time lapse of, all of the...
So she's dating a minor.
Yeah, yeah, essentially. And they show that time lapse of like months have passed, being like, nature is decaying because bees aren't pollinating anything. But if this movie was like realistic, those bees would have died, and
it would take a lot longer for the flowers to get that bad.
Yeah, we would be on to, Barry B. Benson's grandkids. And
I think I'd like that more. They're carrying on but the thing is though, she's still alive, Vanessa.
She still thinks that his like all of his sons keep going to her pretending to be Barry,
yeah.
And she's like, oh, hey Barry, and it's like his third son, and he's like, hey Vanessa, I've heard a lot about you, and she's like, what do you mean? And she's like, I mean, it's been so long.
Yeah. He's got a weird thing for her, like the whole montage dream sequence when he falls in the pool.
Oh my god, yeah.
And she kills a mosquito directly after she's talked about how important life is, and they laugh about it.
Yeah, and then she's just like,
and then she crashes a hang glider into a cliff.
Isn't she on a biplane?
No, it's like a mix, because it's like a plane, but then it's got like a hang gliding bit at the top.
Oh. Well,
I don't know
because
what
if she was on a hang glider, she wouldn't have exploded when she hit the
No,
cliff.
she wouldn't have.
Because she straight up blew up. Like, she was flying and then just... And Barry was like, oh my god! That's another thing which is like
Doesn't
leaning
make
into...
sense.
Yeah, but it's like leaning into the absurdity, which I think is what it needs, you know? Just complete, utter craziness.
Oh yeah, totally. And then it goes on to the next scene where they're in the supermarket, and Barry's talking about all the emotions he has, and he's like, anger, jealousy, lust,
And lust. Yeah,
and lust, which he doesn't hear.
What did we say when he said that? We were like, oh, does that mean Barry's like insinuating that he had a bee nut?
Yeah, a bee nut over her.
Because that's like, yeah, because he was talking about his emotions, and he was like,
Lust.
yeah, you deal with anger any way that you would deal with any other emotion, like
Sadness.
Well, but what does he list when he's like dealing with anger? He's like,
He says something.
You write an angry letter and you throw it out,
away.
and when he says lust, he looks at her like,
No, he doesn't look at her. He looks away.
Oh yeah, he looks to the side and he closes his eyes a little bit, and he's
To be
like,
honest, I think he actually looks at his hand when he says that,
oh no.
which makes it about 20 times worse.
He's like, lust?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
It's awful. I never want to hear a bee, or let alone Jerry Seinfeld, say the word lust.
I don't. Jerry Seinfeld is such an odd person to get to like play this character in
Yeah.
a kids film. I don't think I've actually seen him in any other kids film. Also, Chris Rock's in this film
Yeah, neither of us knew about that. Like,
until his name popped up on the screen.
yeah, we both have seen this movie. I'm sure you've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, but
like
it was
as a kid.
But I haven't seen it recently.
Yeah, me neither. So we both watched it as a refresher, and we were just at the very beginning when the credits were coming up. The last name was Chris Rock, and we were both like, "What? Like, what? Who is Chris Rock?
Who the hell does Chris Rock play? And I thought we played Ken for a second, but like, no, that's a completely different voice.
Yeah, but he plays the mosquito guy.
Yeah, what is he again? He's like a lone wolf traveler guy. He's got like sort of like a 1940s aviator outfit going on. Like he's got the white scarf with like the sort of leather jacket and the cat with the goggles.
Yeah, and he's like, what's his name? His name is Moose Blood.
Blood?
It's so weird. Cause yeah, he was never really named in the movie. They just nicknamed him Moose Blood.
Well, the
like,
subtitles we were looking at
yeah,
just said Moose.
Yeah, it said Moose Blood. But
That's what he was going, like where he was traveling when Barry's going to the farm to investigate the atrocities that have been going on behind the bee's back.
I like when he left after like being on screen for like a minute and a half, and I just turned to you and I was like, does he ever come back? And you were like, I don't think so.
When he comes back at the end of the movie for like a second to give some social commentary to the film.
Yeah, in like the equivalent of like a post-credit scene, he's like, all lawyers are blood-sucking demons.
Yeah, all lawyers are blood-sucking parasites. All I needed is a briefcase.
Yeah, that was the joke.
Because he's a mosquito. No, yeah, because I'm a mosquito. I'm already a blood-sucking parasite. All I needed is a briefcase to be a lawyer.
Mm.
And that's the thing about, I find DreamWorks do really well, is they do films that usually have good jokes for both kids and adults.
Yeah, for sure.
But no one can enjoy this movie, really.
Yeah, unless you're watching it with your 3-year-old.
Yeah, kids could definitely enjoy it, but adults probably not so much.
I mean, like, I think it's an entertaining movie that you should see at least once. But like, I watched it so much as a kid just because like it was one of the only films that we just had lying around, and it's not good, Like, it's really not one of those animated films that I immediately think, and I'm like, yes, this is great.
But
obviously, because it's a movie about bees.
It's a film that they keep playing a lot on TV.
Really?
Like, I notice sometimes it'll be like around dinner, and I just like dinner time, and I like flick on the TV, and I just see on the guide, and it just says B movie coming up at 7.
Oh my
it's
god!
It's either on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night.
That's kind of shocking.
No, not really. If you think about it, because it's just a DreamWorks movie, and all those types of movies they think are safe to like, just quickly just keep pushing out to like play to people, so people actually watch TV instead of going to like streaming services and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess. But like, couldn't you play like Mega Man? Not Mega Man, Megamind, or like Shrek, or Kung Fu Panda?
Play those movies as well.
Yeah.
I think it's Go. They play is DreamWorks and Pixar movies.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But B Movie does come up a lot, which is probably one of the worse DreamWorks movies. I would love to see more Megamind.
Yeah, me too. I would really love to see more Megamind.
But we're not here to talk about that today.
Didn't we already mention Megamind when we were talking about Minions?
Yeah, I think we did.
Because we were talking about how Minion was like, they were released at the same time, and then Minion was also...
Oh yeah, the Minions did so well.
Yeah.
But Megamind didn't do as well.
And they were both about, the bad guy becoming good. And they both had Minion sidekicks called Minion.
The Minions were just trying to find the baddest guy.
Yeah. But like, the Despicable Me movie came out at the same time as Megamind. Which I suppose Despicable Me is a bit different, because like, he tries to be bad. Whereas Megamind, like, he's trying to be good. But, like, it's still movies about bad guys. So, it's like... It's similar enough that, they'd be very competitive at the box office.
Yeah. Anyway, moving back to the B movie. Yeah. We're continuing with the story. After, they're actually, during the supermarket scene, Barry finds out that humans have been taking their honey. Which, like, I thought, like, bees would sort of know that. I mean, if they know how to make... I mean, they have cars.
Yeah.
If they've got Larry King, and stuff like that, and if he's been out for a while, I'm surprised people don't know about it. But he goes and investigates it, and bees have been being kept in like enslavement camps, and dosed up with like
gas
to like make honey for them, which is a lot more messed up. Like the more you think about it.
Yeah.
But then he's like, at this point in the film, it's where it takes more of like, I mean, like, yeah, he's like, so like coming of age, yeah, I guess it's fun B movie. I mean, falling in love with a woman, I guess, I mean, it's sort of weird, but I mean, it could be like funny, like all the different like fun times and stuff they have at like a restaurant or something like that. But B enslavement and suing the human race is a turn I didn't expect to happen in this movie, especially a kids movie. This is rated G, by the way.
Yeah, and like they have a lot of weird moments where you're like, this is a G movie. Like you said it yourself when they were on the roof of the building after all the plants stopped.
And they talk about a suicide pact.
Yeah, and after all the plants had like died out, Barry was just like, How about a suicide pact? And she was just like, aight. And then he said, I sting you, you slap me. She goes, oh, that'd just kill you twice. And he's like, oh, damn. But
and
like,
that's the only reason why they don't go through with it.
Because he wouldn't be capable of killing her.
I know that's meant to be a joke, but really?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was funny, but, when I saw it as a kid, I obviously didn't know what suicide was. So... Anyway,
back to so he decides somehow he manages to build a case and take the entire human race to the Supreme Court, where we get introduced to the interesting lawyer.
Is he played by John Goodman? It sounded like John Goodman.
Yeah, I think so. But what was his name again?
I don't remember.
I just call him Crazy Lawyer Guy. Who's obsessed with.
Just kind of like a big fat baby.
Yeah,
like Alec Baldwin. Type.
But with a lot of movies and stuff, especially with like even in like court cases in animated movies, they try to at least sort of stick to the general proceedings of a court.
Yeah.
This completely doesn't.
Yeah, the entire time you were just saying like
it's like objection, speculation, objection leading the witness. There's so many different like things going wrong here. The Barry actually makes like valid-ish points during the thing, but the only way the guy manages to turn the jury on him is just by talking about his relationship with Vanessa. Yeah, which that's no evidence at all. That's just about him, not about the entire B race, but somehow it turns on all of them.
Yeah, and it's irrelevant as well.
And he gets the Alec Baldwin looking guy to almost kill him.
Yeah.
And he brings in an actual bear.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. But again, like this just kind of like little nitpicky things, like, oh, it's not realistic enough.
I know, but I think it's just funny to talk about.
Yeah, obviously, but it's like it's a movie about goddamn bees talking and suing people and flying planes and like.
I mean, it's never been done before. Can't argue that.
Yeah, true. Like it's one of those movies that it comes and it goes, but for whatever reason it came back. And I can't explain why, apart from the fact that people kind of just, like, with the age of the internet and meme culture and comedy, which is just completely absurdist, people kind of realized how completely ridiculous the B-movie is. Like, the B-movie was kind of before its time.
Yeah, there are so many parts of it you could actually take out of context and use in like a sort of meme format, but the only one people use is probably like one of the more weaker ones, which is You Like Jazz.
Yeah. Like, I'm surprised I haven't seen as many winter boots memes, but
yeah,
you know.
But I think it's just because it's such an easily quotable line.
Yeah.
Or just talking about the relationship between the two.
Yeah. It just insinuates a lot.
No, but so anyway, Barry wins this case by proving to them that that bees are being smoked, which he saw before, and he didn't think to mention it earlier.
But it was like they rolled up to the jury, and then, you know,
they were making paper boats.
Yeah, they were making paper boats, which is like whatever.
A distraction to stall so they can get a smoker, which wouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah, but then he rolls up with a smoker, and everyone's all like, oh, like they don't know what a smoker is.
It's like someone's brought in like a time bomb or something.
Yeah, like it's pretty common knowledge that, you know, with beekeepers that they use smokers to, you know, incapacitate the bees to get the honey. Like, that's not uncommon knowledge, but everyone in the jury acting was just like, oh my god, and then he turns around with the smoker and he's like, oh, this little thing, it couldn't hurt a fly, and he
just accidentally presses it and doses a whole bunch of bees, and then people come in and take photos.
Yeah, all the bees get knocked out, and then everyone's just like, oh my god, and they start flashing cameras at them. It's so ridiculous, but it's very funny.
And then somehow they win from that. Well, I mean, that's probably the only valid point. You could probably argue just to let the bees free.
Yeah.
And like, but the thing about it, which is so weird, his demands. Oh, they also bring Sting in as well.
Oh yeah.
The singer. That's also such a weird thing to put in a kids movie. I think that's another one of those adult jokes they thought they would be funny to include, because no kid would know anything about the Police or Sting.
Yeah.
The parents probably would. Still, as a witness in a trial for why honey should be like given back to bees.
Yeah.
Honey farms and industries that produce honey, totally.
Like the CEO of the company, like, sure, yeah.
But the demands were, so to give all the honey back to the bees, get rid of they take down Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
To stop associating bears with honey. And then remove any nicknames to do with bee puns, like Sting. And there's this scene of a SWAT team taking out Sting and dragging him away. But I don't know if they arrest him, or do they?
I don't know. He was like meditating as well. He was like floating off the ground. So it is canon in the B-movie universe that, you know, magic is real.
Oh, that's stuff how these bees talk.
Yeah, I just like to throw that out there.
Do you think we could get a bee Doctor Strange?
Yeah, a bee Doctor Strange
bee
crossover. Oh god,
perfectly balanced.
But yeah, when they I was completely caught off guard when they, you know, attacked that old lady who was putting honey in her tea.
Oh yeah.
And then they slammed her on the table and then put 2 guns to her face and was just like, give up the honey. Or I was on the edge of my seat with my head in my hands, like, this isn't real. Like, it just escalated so quickly.
Yeah, it started off by getting all the honey from the shelves and stuff, and then I was like, okay, I guess kind of weird just taking off production, but I guess it's a part of the deal.
Yeah.
But just anyone that's already currently using honey has to be taken out.
Yeah.
Especially this old woman who's got about probably a centimeter by centimeter cube of just honey there that she's using, and it's like, get on the ground.
Yeah, it was so awful. But it's dark comedy right there.
Yeah, bee sues the human race.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Vanessa helped them throughout all of this because she's a florist.
Yeah.
How does she not know how pollen works
Yeah, I know.
and the importance of bees in like the ecosystem?
Also, it doesn't really kind of make sense that they confiscate the honey, give it back to the bees, and
What are they
then,
going to do with it?
Well,
With that much honey?
yeah, I guess, but like they use it for everything,
Their cars.
Like
Hair gel.
if we got like an abundance more of our natural resources that we use every day, right? Like I don't know, fuel for our cars or more food.
I think
or,
fossil fuel's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, or I don't know, just all that kind of resources and stuff. If we just got an abundance of that suddenly, just a big spike of it for no reason, would we just stop working and stop all of our industries to continue our livelihoods?
No, you wouldn't, because in this universe, honey is their only one source of income for all bees, and they use it for everything.
Yeah.
Whereas like fossil fuels can be used for some things, but it can't be used for everything.
Yeah.
And
But
so
like
it's also stupid to compare since it's an animated kids film.
Yeah, I know. But like if you suspend your disbelief for a minute about if you try and, or if you try and look at it from
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You're just trying to make a comparison of if you had more, it would actually help them. And
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, their only job is to produce honey. I'm not entirely sure. Like they just produce enough to keep the hive running,
Yeah.
which they just use for everything. And then in excess, they don't even use it. They don't even use the excess. All they do is they all relax and all sunbake by a pool for some reason. That's all. That's the extent That's the extent you see of them relaxing. Apart from all the the workplaces just being shut down and empty.
Yeah. I do remember you saying like, why aren't they partying?
Why are they all just sunbaking in a hive when there's no sun?
Yeah, which that would be funny to see. Like, yeah, we won the lawsuit, and then they all just start going crazy, doing drugs and just partying like crazy.
Well, honey's a bit like drugs to them because you see the guy who fills up his car.
Yeah, and
with honey, and then he just takes some of it from the hose.
Yeah, you just drink some honey, which is supposed to be filling up your car. That was a weird moment. I was like, it would
sort of make sense to maybe think of it as an alcohol, maybe.
Yeah.
'Cause you could potentially use it as a fuel, use it as a drink, which is addictive. Possibly use it as all the other stuff like hair gel and stuff like that. It's probably a little bit less.
Eye drops.
Yeah.
Honey eye drops. It's like alcoholic.
But it's like a material that you can use in a lot of products.
Yeah.
So in a way, I guess it could be like what's the word? A miracle product. It just does everything.
Yeah. For bees, at least, they just use it for everything.
It's their medicine as well.
Yeah, and it's their water in their
Adam
pool.
has it as an IV drip when he loses his stinger.
Yeah.
And they replace it with one of the plastic swords.
Yeah.
Now, poor guy.
Yeah, seriously.
I know how Barry talks about having to control your anger and such, but Adam stings the dude, the lawyer, after he says one or two things about Vanessa and Barry's relationship. Barry's not fazed at all, but Adam just picks himself up and flies and then stings the lawyer. The thing about bees, when they sting you, the reason they die, I'm pretty sure, is the fact that it's connected to all their internal organs. So when they sting you, it pulls them all out, and they'd be dead. Yeah,
you told me that while we were watching. I was like, I forgot what I asked. It was something about the bee stinger. And that surprised me because I never knew that. But there you go.
It's not really a common. People just bee sting you, they die. So don't annoy them because it's like their whole life, and people never ask why. There's also the thing at the beginning of the movie which says, according to all known laws of aviation, there is no way a bee should be able to fly.
Yeah.
But apparently bees flap their wings 230 times a second, which gives them enough lift to pick them up.
Yeah, so they don't care about the laws of aviation and
the thing is,
aerodynamics.
That is sort of what we tried to elicit at the beginning of when we started to look.
When we were inventing
planes.
flight.
Yeah. Well, we originally looked to birds.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there was one guy who looked at bees and was like, That's it.
That's how we do it.
So like, he shouldn't be able to fly, so maybe we can model off of them.
Yeah.
If we flap this 230 times a second, we'll be able to get off the ground.
But like we were just saying before, like how creepy would it be to see a plane flap its wings, you know?
Oh, with the motions as well.
Yeah,
all-
like it's bending and stuff.
Oh,
like
planes are fine because it's pretty much stationary apart from a couple rudders.
Yeah.
They all mechanically move, so it doesn't look too weird.
but that's like natural wavy movement.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
Y'all at home, you can't see my arm right now, but Kaylin knows exactly.
Yeah,
what I'm doing.
your hand's not moving. It's more like a sort of like an ocean wave.
Yeah.
I mean, probably less like that, but
That's
how I imagine birds fly.
This isn't a visual shot. I don't know why I'm acting out stuff.
You should get like a Five Nights at Freddy's security cam up in the corner to just record for a video podcast.
I really want to do a Five Nights at Freddy's episode.
Alright, wait, we're getting off topic again. This happens quite a bit. I'm sorry.
I know that in the last couple of episodes, almost all of them that we've done, we've gotten like weirdly political for like no reason.
Have we?
Yeah, well, especially
we just talked about flapping wings and made.
Well, not this one, but you know, like it all started. The main
Minions,
one was the Minions. I just went completely
that was
off
about
topic.
the movie industry.
Yeah, about the film industry and all that, and then
Overwatch, we started talking about the Hong Kong protests.
And also representation with the characters. And then Adventure Time didn't really get too deep into that, but
it was just dark, which is political enough.
Yeah, but we talked about Princess Bubblegum and Marceline, which I love, by the way, because it's not forced.
They're a power couple.
Yeah, exactly. But we're talking about the B movie, and I literally don't think there is a way for us to make this political.
You can be political in the sense of in the actual B movie.
Yeah.
You could talk about representation in the B movie.
Well,
wait, we could talk about the fact how DreamWorks is really lazy by the fact that they use the same character models for 7 of the side characters.
Yeah, all throughout the movie, we just kept, every time we saw the same character model, we would just be like, it's the same guy, and we kept pointing at
He played a bunch of different. He played Ken's friend, the one who almost ate Barry, and then he played the head of the firm of one of the honey companies.
Yeah, the CEO of Hunex or whatever.
Yeah, and then he was the pilot on the plane that Barry knocks out.
Yeah.
And he was a cyclist, and then he was also one of the honey farmers.
Yeah, he was
the one that laughs maniacally.
Yeah, and not only that, those were like the speaking roles that this same guy got. It's meant to be different people, but they just copy and pasted the character model.
And they all look the same.
Yeah, not only that, but like
they didn't even change the haircut or anything, or the eye color.
Yeah, but they also just copy and pasted like a bunch of background characters as well. Like he was just in the background a couple of times, which like I understand this movie came out in like what 2008, something like that.
I mean,
so,
even still though.
Yeah, but like you see films now do that, you know, like I'm gonna pick on Illumination again, just because I know that they always do this.
Because you can.
Yeah, just any opportunity to pick on.
We've talked about this, how the Minions are copy and pasted from like 42 different things.
Yeah, but obviously, because you know they're goddamn Minions.
It's not much variation. It's all very inbred.
But I watched a video from IHE. Who posted about Sing. I haven't seen Sing myself.
Oh, I have.
But
I think this will probably be I think I'll get this if you say what I'm thinking of.
And yeah, he did a little montage, just a little edit of just how many times he spotted the same character model of a crocodile, copy and pasted throughout the movie. And it was like 4 minutes long. And it was just like, and it wasn't like slowly edited either. It was like, do, and it was just like, there he is, he's also there he is. And I was like, and that movie was...
I think you could get more variation if you think about it by doing different animals, but I think they were just too lazy to do it.
Yeah, and I know the reason for it is because they were trying to cut costs, but... You know,
were they trying to cut? Maybe in the B movie they like spent all their money getting Jerry Seinfeld and Chris Rock to be in this movie.
Yeah, probably. That's probably it.
And the guy that looks like Alec Baldwin,
who we don't actually know.
Yeah, what's his name? I can't remember his name.
No, but like that movie was much more recent than the B movie, and it's doing the same thing. So like, I don't know why.
Just in greater detail.
Yeah, but like I said, I pick on Illumination because I think they suck, and they also are notorious for having very low budgets for their animated movies. Like Sing did not cost that much, and it's because they do stuff like that. They reuse assets and all that. Anyway, we're not talking about Sing. We're talking about the B movie. But I think that kind of adds to the charm that they use the same character model for like not only just background characters, but for like speaking roles.
Yeah, for actual sort of at least like side characters, not main, but like side characters.
Yeah.
I think that's good about it. It makes it more like memeable as well.
Yeah.
But no one ever everyone's always like, you like jazz.
That's the only thing people talk about.
We should probably talk about the resolution of the movie.
Yeah.
So Barry wins the lawsuit, and they get all the honey back, and then in about 2 days, all the flowers are dead, which
it's like
doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like it's insinuating that it's been like a month, but
Barry would be dead by then.
Yeah. All of Barry and all of his friends would be dead, including his family. But we also said while we were watching it that like it doesn't really make sense when it comes to nature anyway. Like, and also...
What do you mean?
Well, like, they wouldn't decay that quickly.
Oh, yeah. Because if it would decay that... Because I think they're trying to keep it slightly more realistic in the sense that Barry would be dead if it was, like, a year or two.
Yeah.
But unrealistic in the sense that flowers wilt very quickly if you don't like water them or get pollination for like a day. But
like all the trees are dead as well, and like there's no green whatsoever.
All the leaves, are dead.
Which like that's not real. But also the weirdest part about that, like sure whatever, I don't care. But Barry was like completely unaware that this was happening. You know, he flew out of his hive, which is in the middle of Central Park, where all of the trees and stuff is clearly dead, to Vanessa's house.
Without
noticing all of the dead
anything.
stuff. And he would have had to, you know, live there amongst all of this dead stuff for like over a month, and he still didn't notice. And then he goes to Vanessa's house, and she's like, "You really don't know what's going on, do you?" And he's like,
"Look at all these flowers, they're dead."
And then she's like, "Check it out, everything's dead, man." And he's like, he's completely dumbfounded. He's like, "What?"
Oh, and then they're on the roof as well, and they're like talking for a second, and then she disappears, and he doesn't hear anything or anything, and the next thing is she's just downstairs getting in.
Yeah, she's just gone
into a taxi. Yeah. And he chases after her, and he's like, and they're talking about how the flowers from this parade could pollinate the entire Central Park, and I'm assuming the world, since they sued the entire human race, so all bees of the world, not just Central Park. Could pollinate all of it.
Yeah, they didn't just sue like one honey company or something. They were like,
all of them.
We're gonna sue all humans. Like, and we were saying during the
Bee dictators.
we were saying during the court case that like even the jury is biased in itself
because they're all humans.
Yeah, it's made up of all humans.
But somehow they're like, let's give the bees back their honey.
Yeah. So I guess it's not biased.
I think that lawyer was just awful.
Yeah, he was crazy. Like,
and he comes out once he gets stung in a what is it, a baby stroller? Not
yeah,
stroller.
like one of those baby wheel thingies where you wheel yourself around. Yeah, but like I think out of everyone in the movie, either that guy or Ken was a schizophrenic.
Ken is insane because he the scene where he tries to kill Barry in the bathroom.
Yeah,
and he should have broken his neck because he does like a full 1 meter jump and falls into the bathtub.
Yeah, he straight up like fell on his head, like in the tub. Like
that have a very thick neck.
Yeah, or his neck was broken and he just tanked it like a Chad.
And it is possible to break your neck and not be dead.
Yeah,
but it's very unlikely.
Case in point, Ken in the B movie, he actually died. But you know, he was
better for continuity wise if he just in the next scene that you see him, he comes with the like
a neck brace. Yeah,
like yogurt night. No.
Why always yogurt night?
I was expecting him to call Barry at some point a homewrecker. I thought that would be. I think that would be really funny if they just lean into the full. Yeah, these bees, like this bee and this woman, they're definitely like together.
I loved those scenes where they were like making fun of him, like or like her cheating on Ken with a goddamn bee, because they were like sitting for dinner and she was like, oh, it just so happened that Barry was free. Like
I
I didn't invite him, you know, over you. I was just because, like, you know, he was in town and all that, and he's just
I didn't
like,
think you were gonna be home this early.
yeah. And he's like, well, here I am.
And he does the thing where he says, "That's my chair. I sit there."
Yeah, he looks so mad. I love.
He's like replacing Ken
Yeah,
while sitting at this little doll's table. Barry is
yeah, I love Patrick's delivery of that line. I'm pretty sure that's his name.
Patrick.
I might just look it up. It's Patrick something.
Patrick. All right, while you're looking that up, I'll just talk about the end of the movie. So Barry, they get these flowers and they transport them in a plane back to Central Park to save them all and stuff. And Barry makes this speech that gets on BTV.
Yeah.
not B Larry King, but just BTV. And all the bees come out of the hive, just the one from that hive, and they all lift the plane, which once again is so dumb.
It's ridiculous.
But then they've also got the flower on the ground to direct them of where to go.
Yeah.
And the guy they land the plane like a bee would land, so they've got it nose down and it just moves like really what's the word, jerkily. Is that a word?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's all jerky, it's movement, because, you know, it's like, it's moving up and back, and...
Yeah, and there's a guy in like a Hawaiian shirt, and he turns around and there's planes just facing him, and instead of running away...
Another flower! What flower? This flower? No!
And he looks at the plane, and he's like, and you know, if you see a plane like that coming towards you, you would usually run, move out the way, scream. This guy fumbles for his camera.
He gets his camera out. Yeah.
And then proceeds to run away.
But it was also funny because it wasn't like, you know, like you'd expect. You see a plane coming at you, you're like, oh shit, that's like really far away. I should probably move. It's coming towards me. No, this was like 10 feet away from his face. Like,
yeah, pretty much like the nose of his plane. Like,
yeah.
he could almost, like, if he reached out and jumped, he could probably touch the nose.
Yeah,
of the plane.
exactly. And the nose of the plane was staring right at his face, and it was like, it was angled up at like a 45-degree angle to the sky, which completely defies all laws of physics.
And that is correct. I checked. I used Pythagoras' theorem.
Yeah. We cross-referenced that for the B movie as well. We did it right before recording. Anyway, Patrick Warburton is who voices Ken.
Yes.
And he also does Kronk, like you said,
Yes.
in Emperor's New Groove.
And he's also in Ted, I think, as well.
Yeah, and he's Joe Swanson in Family Guy.
Oh
Joe
yeah. How
Swanson.
did I not think of that?
Yeah.
He's got a
Joe.
very... It's not nasally, but it's like a sort of deep... just... something just good about his voice.
Yeah, it's very distinct. I love it.
I could just listen to that on like a 10-hour playlist of just his voice over and over again.
I ran. Man, I can't even walk. That's my favorite Joe Swanson meme.
Let's see what we're dealing with
And
here.
he's just sitting in his wheelchair. I ran. I can't even walk. It's so awful.
I love his lining for Kronk in The Emperor's New Groove, where I can't remember the name of the villain, but she gets rid of his food and he's like, oh, my spinach puffs.
I haven't seen Emperor's New Groove like in forever.
This is a whole bunch of DreamWorks movies and stuff, which are really, or just kids movies. Well, is it DreamWorks that do Emperor's New Groove?
I don't know.
I think it's Pixar, DreamWorks, and Disney are the main ones.
Yeah.
Which will do like good-ish relative. They do average films, I guess. They're enjoyable to an extent. I mean, Emperor's New Groove is really good, but there's a whole bunch that we really got to watch again, or at least I got to watch again.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's a whole bunch of jokes that you don't pick up on as a kid, which I think is the joy of those films, because you have to re-watch them again. It's like watching the movie for the first time all over.
Yeah, it's like a whole new experience. I'm just looking at IMDb and it doesn't say who, you know, like published it or whatever, developed it. It's Disney. Okay, there you go. Disney Animation.
How come there's not like an Emperor's New Groove? Is there an Emperor's New Groove right at Disneyland or something like that?
I don't know.
I would pay to have that installed. I know in Australia.
Let's make a Kickstarter happen.
In Australia and Queensland at Movie World, they've got a Scooby-Doo ride.
I have
The
been on
haunted
that.
house one.
Yeah,
That is my favorite ride.
dude. That I went to Movie World as a kid, and that was one of the few rides that I actually went on just because I loved Scooby Doo so much, and that
It's like where they
traumatized
included
me.
it. Really? Because of
Yeah.
the swinging axes
Yeah.
and the ride itself.
Yeah, seriously. Because I was very young, like really young, and I'd never been to like.
The first Scooby Doo movie, like a live action one, is actually kind of spooky.
Yeah, that scared me as well. I saw the CG monsters and I was like, oh my god, that would kill me. But like, you know, now I look at it and it looks ridiculous. But
It
like,
looks like a stretched out Great Dane
yeah, or like a grape that I stood on accidentally.
with ears.
Yeah, or like a sultana that's been hiding behind the fridge for, you know, a couple years. But yeah, I was traumatized by that. And
Jerry Seinfeld could have played some good roles in that film.
but I went to Movie World very young, and I remember only doing three things there. I saw Shrek 3 or Shrek 4D.
Shrek 4D is
Yeah.
amazing.
I went on the Scooby Doo ride, and I went on some kiddie Bugs Bunny lift thing.
I did those exact same things, but then I also bought a Scooby Doo plush toy when I was there.
I got a Tasmanian Devil shirt. Yeah, I love that.
As
but
you can see, we're connoisseurs of what are they called again? Not roller coaster theme parks.
yeah, but I went to Shrek 4D, and I sat at the very back where the effects wouldn't actually affect you,
Man,
and I
I sat
closed
at the
my
front.
eyes. And I closed my
I was
eyes.
at the front, dude. I was waiting for that thing to start up. It was like, whoa.
It's funny because, you know, I'm talking about how traumatized I was by goddamn Shrek 4D, and you're talking about how, like, you loved it so
It's
much, which is like,
awesome.
which is like,
It's amazing.
I wish that I did that as a kid because, you know,
So, but you weren't traumatized by the B movie?
no, I thought the B movie was awesome. But where I'm getting at
I think
with
it was
that,
the opposite. I was a little bit sort of weirded out and by it. I mean, it's in it, not in like the same way as like you would probably be by like Scooby Doo or Shrek 4D, because that's actually got like stuff you could say is scary.
yeah.
But I was like, talking bee. Because I
Ugh!
didn't really like bees because like when I first watched it, I'd recently gotten stung by one.
Oh, really?
Because there was one out one day, and I had like a pool cleaner. I was like cleaning a pool, and it landed on my hand. And then my dad had always told me, if a bee lands on your hand, don't do anything.
Yeah.
Just as in the movie, freeze. He won't attack you.
Yeah.
Freeze. And I'm like, okay. But then the bugger, he stung me, and then
He did it anyway.
he stung me, and then I flung him, and then I was like, oh, and it was right on like my hand as
Yeah.
well. Like I think probably just around my thumb, and I was like.
Yeah, that's where I got stung as a kid as well. I've only been stung once, but it was on the hand, and I was literally like, I saw a bee on the ground. I was like, oh no,
Picked it
and then
up?
and then I picked it up, put it in my hand, and I was like, I'll take care of you, buddy. And then he was just like, what the fuck, and then just stung me, and I was like, oh my god, and then I threw him, and then I was like at school, and I was like, oh my god. If I'm allergic to bees, I could die right now. But I just didn't tell anyone because I was like, I don't want anyone to think that I'm going to die. So I just kept it to myself.
That's okay. That's
So-
an odd thing to think. Oh, I was the complete opposite. I got stung, and I was like, I ran downstairs, and I was like, Mom, get the ice.
Yeah, well, like if I was at home, I probably would have done that. But like I was at school, and I was like, I don't want to make a disturbance, so I just kept it to myself. But I find that funny that we had completely opposite experiences at
But you-
Shrek 4D. But now I'm the one who loves horror stuff.
And I hate it.
Yeah, it's like it's weird.
I don't hate it with a passion. I just don't like it.
Yeah, which is like fair enough. Like I get that, but
Well, with the bees, quickly, like I got stung, and I watched the bee movie, and I was kind of worried that if it was like Shrek 4D but the bee movie, I would be afraid because if like a giant stinger like came up from out of nowhere, I would
Yeah.
be like, what the?
yeah, that would be pretty intense.
I mean, so yeah, Barry saves the town, city, the world, one of them.
The human race,
Saves the human race
the
from-
bee race.
by getting these pollen jocks to help him with pollinating all of Central Park, and somehow that fixes everything.
Mm.
And then he becomes an attorney.
Yeah,
He
but
gets his law degree.
But before that, the pollen jocks invite him to the D Club They're like, "Hey man, you're Chad now. Here's your vest and your helmet."
Oh,
And then he's like, "Yeah, man." Or it should be called the B Club.
the B Club.
Yeah.
I don't know why it isn't called the B Club.
The Sting Club. Team Sting.
That'd be a cool sort of gang name. The Stingers.
They should have had like a B initial on, their jackets or the back. That would have been dope.
A B initial.
Yeah. Like on
But
their leather
anatomy,
jackets.
I wonder what it wouldn't be like a B like what we think Bs are. It'd be like their version of a B.
No, just the letter B.
Oh, the letter B.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like an actual like B.
No, not like a picture of a B. Nah.
They're all because I think apart from Adam, most of them B's names start with B. Or is it Barry the only? Barry's the one I definitely know is like B.
I don't even remember any of their names.
I think the only names I remember are Adam, Barry, Vanessa, and Ken.
Yeah,
That's the 4 names.
Yeah, that's it. And 2 of them aren't even bees.
Adam's less of a bee though. He looks more like a grasshopper.
He's like barely in the movie either.
He's just there for like moral moral support and the voice of reason.
Yeah, but like it was set up like they were gonna, the movie was gonna be about them. Yeah, and it was gonna be about Barry teaching Adam to let loose and not be so by the code, and Adam kind of teaching Barry.
Halle Berry.
Adam trying to teach Halle Berry, trying to not
responsibility.
Yeah, responsibility.
And how to be free but still keep your life together.
Yeah, but they take that setup and throw it out the window, and then they're like, you know what? We're just gonna have a big lawsuit where we take down the human race, and we're gonna have a plane trying to crash in.
And we're gonna insinuate that this bee has sex with a human woman.
Yeah, how would that work?
In a meeting, they're trying to explain. I bet this originally when they gave Jerry Seinfeld's like, here's the movie idea, right? And they originally pitched it as like an R18 sort of weird horror movie where this guy gets turned into a bee and his girlfriend finds him. And he's like, oh no. And then that's the whole idea about that relationship. And they're trying to think about it.
The only line that they had scripted initially was...
You don't like jazz.
No, it was how to deal with emotions. Anger, sadness, lust.
That was the only line.
They built the script around that line.
Started at the supermarket scene.
Yeah.
And then they worked backwards and forwards.
Yeah, they were like, how can we make this a movie? Oh, I know. Let's just, throw in some other... random crap in there.
Let's make this a G movie. Like, this is no longer an R18 movie, alright? Stop with that animation. Throw that out the window.
We're not going to appeal to adults with a movie about bees. This needs to be targeted at children.
Yeah, children. What adult cares about bees?
I do
We're
like...
still going to get Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah. I do like the message of the film, though, being, respect the nature...
I said before, it seems like this movie is made by the Greens Party.
Yeah, it was funded by the Greens.
It is a good message, and I do like the movie for that. It's one of the only sort of DreamWorks kids movies I know that has probably a message that isn't believe in yourself or hey, think about what you're going to say before you say something. And an actual message, an environmental message, which is good. But it took a whole hour and a half of just complete
irrelevant bullshit.
Yeah, irrelevant bullshit to get to that message.
Yeah. Anyway, we're running out of time, but I think we've said pretty much.
I think we've said more than enough.
Yeah.
To give you our opinions on it. I mean, we could end with a rating, maybe. I guess we've sort of been doing that.
I rate it a B.
Out of what?
Out of 10. B out of 10.
B out of 10.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a B. That's pretty good. I'd probably give it a 8 out of 10.
An 8?
Yeah, we're working on different scales.
Really?
Yeah, you give it a B out of... Oh, okay, fine.
Wait, no, okay, in all
my
seriousness.
My logic behind giving it 8 out of 10 is the fact that 8 looks most like a B. But it's too high of a rating.
Like, yeah. So...
Realistically, they're probably a 4 or a 5 out of 10.
Yeah. I'll give it a 4.
Yeah, I'll go 5.
That seems solid enough.
That's average, pretty much.
Yeah,
that's a pass. That's a C.
I was expecting to hate it more than I did. So there you go.
Well, rewatching it again, you see all the jokes that were meant to be aimed at adults, and the absurdity of it. Actually, you pick up on when you're older, which is funnier than probably what they expected it to be.
Yeah, and like, comparing it, I forget what we rated the Despicable Me movies, but
I
like
think it was like a 2.
something like that. But comparing it to those movies which we talked about before, I think B movie is just much better.
Yeah,
I'd say
it's not as awful as that.
yeah, I'd say it's on par with first Despicable Me because they both have good messages. They're both solid. You know, you can just chuck it on and whatever.
I'd say
Like,
it's also on the level of Shrek 3.
yeah, they're not great. I actually really don't like Shrek 3,
Really?
but yeah, that's a story for another day. But you know, they both have solid messages. It's like it's very mediocre, nothing great, but you know, a couple of laughs. So I
At
think
the end of the day, no one goes home with any sad faces.
yeah, you're not gonna come out of being like, oh my god, that was awful. You're just gonna be like, okay,
I'm gonna go beat a beehive now because I hate that movie. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go find Jerry Seinfeld's address.
yeah. And like I said, I think the only reason it's remotely good is just because it's completely absurdist. I don't think the best director and the best any sort of filmmaker could make the concept of a B movie possibly great. Like, I don't think that's actually possible, you know?
Are you talking about without reworking the script?
Well, just like, yeah, you could rework it, you know, just as long as you kept the core concept of it's a movie about bees and it's not a documentary, you know, it's an animated kids film.
You could probably scrap the first. You could keep the first 10-15 minutes and then scrap the rest. And because then you can work off of the whole coming of age B movie type thing with Adam and Barry going on an adventure.
Yeah, true. But then again, that would be kind of more boring than what it is, because the only reason I kind of like it is just because it's all over the place.
Dumb, yeah.
And you know, it's like it's bad for that, but also that's what makes it good. It's very strange, because like it defies all like
Laws of aviation.
yeah no, but like what the proper structure of a film should be, and like the way it's supposed to, you know, like it doesn't follow any of that. It just goes crazy.
It's a
and
free spirit like Barry
Yeah.
B. Benson.
exactly.
And Jerry Seinfeld probably as well.
And I think that's beautiful. So
Well,
thank you for joining us
Thank
today.
you. I hope you have a beautiful day.
I hope it was unbelievable.
Were you thinking about that while we were doing this? As
Yes,
well? Yeah.
I had the exact. I was like, I'm gonna close on a beat pun.
I was like, me too.
So there you go. We're on the same wavelength. Goodbye, everybody.
See you later.